Everybody, it is Saturday. The holidays screwed me up. I don't know what day it is.
Yeah, I thought yesterday was Saturday.
Me and Fitz are here, and Nathan's over there
Hey,
closing
Nate.
up.
Don't forget
We just
Maddie.
closed up, and Maddie is somewhere, but we're closed, so don't panic.
It's
Don't panic. So we just closed up the cafe. Me and Ryan went down to the homeless encampment down on Bay Street.
Yeah, down
the
on the
bottom of
waterfront.
Middle Street. I had gone there before. Actually, I went there a lot during the summer because I would bring them water and stuff like that. Just leave it right on the entrance there.
Mm-hmm.
I never kind of went in. I could see it, but I didn't know how elaborate it was.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was one.
Yep.
But the reason I took Ryan down there is because, we've been doing work on the rail trail. We're trying to come up with solutions to get it clean and hoping to get the people responsible for that mess. I mean, that's not rude in saying, right? I mean,
Largely,
right.
yes. Yeah.
Largely
Not the only ones, but
right. Largely
yeah.
responsible for that disaster down at the rail trail. We were trying to come up with solutions to get them involved to help clean that area and to keep it clean. We were willing to spend our money on trash cans and bags and all that stuff, but it wasn't working. So in desperation, we went down to the bottom of Middle Street because I thought they were a little more organized, a little better off as far as cleanliness and all that stuff. But as fate would have it, I was kind of wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
It
Because
seems like the people that are living there are somewhat taking care of it, but there's a
Right.
lot of people that come and go. And I think the abandoned camps seem to be the largest problem there. It's people just leave and then they just leave everything there.
right, I'm not sure I would say that even the people that are living there are
It wasn't like contained all that well, yeah.
right.
Well, they said there's no dumpster there anymore. They did supply them with wheelbarrows to move
Right.
trash out, but without
Right.
a dumpster there.
Right.
Yeah.
And they do have like city provided trash cans and stuff like that at the corner. So my thing is, the city has done its part or its small part in providing them with receptacles
Yeah,
to put the
possibilities,
trash
yeah.
with possibilities, right? And it's kind of falling short from what I saw. Because it's not just one as you get off that parking lot there and you go up, there's not just one. There's organized trails throughout.
Yeah. Different areas.
right.
Yeah. There's at least, there were like 8 or 9 or 10 people there while we were there.
Right. While we were
There were
there,
several other people living there, so
yeah.
decent size.
While we were there, I mean, it's a community, right?
Yes. Yeah.
While we were there, we had a long discussion with 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
And we asked questions about how we could go about building relationships so that we can kind of partner with them to keep that area clean, right?
Yeah, I think almost like a transactional relationship where we provide you with some things and you provide us with some
Right.
things, right?
So we brought food and backpacks and stuff like that down to
Hats
them.
and gloves, yeah, which they
Right.
needed.
And pastries and things like that. But the hopes we have are, you're right, a transactional relationship. I will give you something if you give me something.
Yeah.
Right.
If you keep this area clean, we will provide some items that you
Right.
require.
Because I'm just gonna say it. It's horrible. It's horrible down there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not
Right.
clean,
I mean,
no.
you can't fluff it up. It's
No, it
it's
looks just as bad as the rail trail.
It's
That
horrible,
is, yeah.
right? I even said it's actually it makes the rail trail look decent,
Well, it's more concentrated there.
right?
Right, where I think like you may have camps at the rail trail that are spread out,
Right.
but if you put them all together, it would look just as bad.
Right. So this particular encampment, these gentlemen have, and we did ask for permission to talk to them. So I don't want anyone to think we're exploiting anyone. We're literally just looking for solutions.
Yeah, we just want to talk to people.
Right.
Yeah. And it's not like we did anything bad. We
No.
weren't using them for anything.
No,
we
no,
were
no,
just
no,
asking
no.
questions.
We didn't videotape them or anything. We are going to have them here at the cafe
Yeah,
so
if they
that we
want
can
to.
have an in-depth conversation.
Around the issues of being unsheltered, around the
Right.
problems that led people to where they are. And,
Right.
Yeah.
because
help
we
identify possible solutions. against
yeah
these
we
problems.
get the official side, we get the human being side of it, like, so we're just trying to put it all together.
Yeah. Well, they'll know best, right?
They
Why
will
they're in
know
the
best,
situation they're in.
right? I think sometimes, like, they had spoken in front of city council and stuff like that, but I think in those
That was Dave,
situations, right, they don't get, they're not as free. There's some intimidation there, there's some nervousness there. I think if we get a few of them here and just have coffee and shoot the breeze, we can build relationships.
And maybe understand a little bit more, right, the root causes of these issues, and then where the possible solutions are again, rather than just like this or that, or
Right.
it's everywhere, or
Right.
there's nothing you can do, or it's X, Y, or Z is the cause. Like, really look at these individuals and speak with them and figure out how they got to where they are.
Right, because I don't think we, the general public, have the information. We have little pieces of information from both sides.
Yeah, and they're mostly stories that are kind of made up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's all rumor and
Beliefs,
gossip.
yeah.
So, again, that was our main goal, was to go down there and build some relationships and see if we can kind of build a force between or involving us, the community, and the homeless.
We're part of the community.
Right.
Yeah.
And they are part of
Yeah.
the community.
Yeah.
Right. But they need to do their share.
Yeah, why not?
So, what was your takeaway?
I mean, I went how I expected. I like I said, I think you hear a lot
I
of
don't
these.
think it did.
Oh, so it did for me, right? Because when they're like, oh, this or that or that, they're just people, right? And they're people that are in unfortunate circumstances, right? And some of that may have been their choices. I don't, right? I can go on about why they ended up the way they are, but they're just people. And if you just go talk to them, they're just like everyone else, ultimately. And so that's what I expected. I expected to go out there and talk to people and meet people and see, how the conversation went.
Yeah.
And they were kind, right? They were pretty
No,
open
they
and
were
honest.
very respectful and kind.
Yeah.
But I think they gave us a little bit of smoke show.
Yeah, well, of course, they're people. That's what everyone does.
Right, but the smoke show being, I mean, we went there to help. Obviously, we brought them stuff, but when they were saying that, we keep this clean and we keep that clean, and
It's not clean right now, was one of the things he was saying, yeah. But
Right.
it normally is, yeah.
right, because we took video, not of them, but of the
Some of the
area,
areas, yeah.
and it's just utter devastation.
Yeah.
Like, it's
It's not quite as bad as the worst area that
Right.
we near the rail trail there,
Right.
where all the abandoned camps were, and it was just
Right.
piled up.
Right.
But it's not clean, no.
right.
No.
And I did ask, and you had an explanation for it, or somewhat of an explanation. I did ask, are you guys happy here? Right? Because what you hear is, it's their choice. They don't want to get better. They don't want to have housing. They want to stay off the grid. Blah blah blah. So I said straight out, "Are you happy here?" And one guy said, "I have $1 million view," right? Because they're right on the water,
It was a nice view.
right?
Yeah.
So when I said, "Are you happy here?" He said, "Well, in the long term, I hope for housing and stuff. But right now, I have $1 million view."
Yeah.
So I have a problem with that.
Why?
I just do.
Well, I mean, he was noting like a positive of his life, right? Which I think is also, a normal kind of person.
But
thing to do.
I did preface it by saying, if someone were to come and offer you housing right now, right, and he said
Yeah.
cost, it would be cost. And I
Yeah.
said, well, that aside,
Yeah.
if someone were to come and offer you housing, and then he started getting into his warrants and his
Yeah,
criminal
how he
record.
got to where he was.
Right.
Yeah. Because he was living in a home.
Right. So it
Yeah.
sounded to me like this is what I took from it. He had some warrants and some legal troubles, which is why he got off the grid. Right.
Well, I'm not sure, to be
Yeah.
honest. I know that's could be, right? But
Right.
it could also be that, he was getting in trouble, he was getting arrested, he couldn't afford to
Right.
live anymore, too. And
Right.
that place that he was, I think, renting a room from somebody
Yeah.
or something, yeah.
Um,
So I'm not sure, right? And that's something we can ask him about and talk
Right.
about. But I mean, the main cause of homelessness, obviously, is financial difficulties, right?
Yeah.
Because if people could afford to live in a home, they would. They wouldn't be living in a tent in the woods in the winter.
unless there was some mental health issues.
even then they prefer to live at home. I mean, you have to be very sort of, right, have a severe psychotic disorder. So, but the cause of those financial difficulties is really right with the question. And that's probably different for lots of different people.
Right.
Yeah, it could be, substance use, because the cost of that outweighs the cost of being able to pay your bills and things like that, right? But obviously it's financial problems, ultimately. Everyone would rather live in a home.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I agree. What surprised me is the age range.
Yeah.
Very young, right?
All males.
All males. They did say there was a female living in the camp a few feet away, and we couldn't really find her. We did leave her a box of something, but we couldn't find her. And another thing that struck me was what they have there. Refrigerators, chairs.
Yeah, you said at one point you had solar panels set up.
Solar panels.
They have heaters, they have, the little Coleman grills, kerosene power.
Right.
Yep.
And I did see pots and pans and a place to cook.
Yeah, he had 3 tents with like a living room, bedroom kind of kitchen set up. Yeah.
So then I kept asking about the weather, like what are you going to be here if we have a snowstorm? And they said, yes, we've been here for 3 years, which struck me.
Yeah. There was one guy for 12 or 13 years, it said has been down there.
Right. And the other gentleman there with the teardrop on his eye, a tattoo, said that he's on a waiting list to get housing. The waiting list is about 4 years, which I found bizarre too.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not enough
I mean,
housing.
we all could be
We
dead
know
in
there's not
here.
enough housing.
Yeah. So he said the waiting list is like 4 years, and he's been there for 3 years.
Yeah, well, hopefully he gets on his feet.
It's mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling. Yeah. So I kept pressing that issue about winter. Like, what are they going to do? We told them that we would check in with them periodically.
Yeah, they need cooking fuel and propane.
So right now, the
Heaters,
biggest need that they have is cooking fuel and propane and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like rakes and shovels.
Right. Which I'm more than happy, and you're more than happy to supply so that they can live. Meaning,
Survive.
so they survive.
Yeah.
So that they can survive the winter. Because who knows if we're going to have a lot of snow or a little snow or whatever. But it doesn't matter. It's cold.
Yeah, so they have to turn the heaters on at like 4 o'clock in the evening, and then it has to run all night.
Right.
Yeah, till like
'Cause
late morning.
I'm not sure.
Survive the night.
I'm not sure everyone realizes this particular encampment that we went to had dug holes into the ground and made a fire pit. Right. So they have fires, they have heaters, they have generators. I don't think a lot of people know that.
Oh, like how? Yeah, I mean,
Right?
yeah, they think they're like camping out in the
Right,
woods, like
so-
like survivalists or something.
Right.
Yeah,
In my
they're not-
mind, I'm like, oh my God, how are they going to survive the winter? But then we just saw
with heaters. Yeah.
fire pits in the ground, legitimate fire pits with like they're surrounded with stone and all that stuff.
I've been in one, where I had brought you that near the rail trail,
Yeah.
and they had like they had like cinder blocks set up with a whole set up for cooking, even with like a grate on top. And,
Right.
Yeah.
So they know how to do it.
Yeah.
They know how to be
Well,
homeless.
yeah, you figure it out.
Right. But I don't think the public has in their mind, oh my God, they're freezing to death in tents, which is very possible.
Yeah,
that can happen.
if they couldn't have
Right.
enough heat. Yeah.
These people were somewhat organized in that their living conditions were not organized.
They seem very friendly and helpful to each
They
other.
were,
too, which is
yes.
good. Yeah.
They did have a tribe kind of behavior. They were very respectful to each other.
Yeah.
There seems to be a hierarchy there. Did you get that?
Oh yeah.
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 There definitely seems to be a hierarchy there. And
I think that speaks to it's all men. too.
that it's all men?
Yeah, they just probably set up there kind of thing, and that's how males tend to act, right? Set
Yeah,
up
but-
the hierarchy and just get it
So
done.
the man that we initially ran into, it seemed like he kind of was
JT,
the
yeah.
JT. Can we say his name?
Why?
Oh, I don't know. He was kind of the leader,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, in some respects, yeah.
And then he had some younger guys there kind of doing the work.
Well, I think he does work too.
Yeah.
I'm sure they all take care of their own areas, but I think they help each other when they have extra things
Right.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I have to admit that every time because I'm new to this too, this unhoused, homeless situation, whatever it is, it just gets more bizarre.
In what way? So, yeah. What do you mean?
I'm
It's
learning.
just because you didn't know, like, how
No, I
this
didn't
was-
know any
oh,
of this. So I'm learning things, right? I'm learning that, At first, I was, completely devastated that human beings actually are homeless and they're living in the woods and stuff like that.
Which is still sad.
Which is very sad and terrible. And then we went to the rail trail, and I started to understand that, yes, being homeless is awful, terrible, probably the worst thing you can go through. But you're kind of compounding that problem on living in the conditions that you're creating for yourself. I mean, those are self-created conditions. Agreed?
Yeah, and I mean, it comes down to, again, though, like if you're living in that situation, and I'm not excusing the behavior, right?
Yeah.
Because my view on it is don't push your problems onto everyone else.
Right.
But like you don't have access to throwing things out. You're living off of things that are like prepackaged all the time. So the amount of trash you generate just keeps accumulating, and then it becomes untenable after probably a very short period.
Right, and I would imagine, listen, if I'm depressed because I'm living outside in the winter and I'm freezing cold and I have all these problems, alcoholism, drug, whatever it is, the last thing I care about is where I throw my trash.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I
it's
do.
Very low on the list.
I
of
do
priorities,
get it, but I think what we need to make a priority is that we have to give them the tools to live in a cleaner environment, which means trash cans, bags, stuff like that. And I'm willing to do that.
And incentive, I think, too, because incentive's going to be necessary.
But then I go back to the fact that I don't think that anyone should be homeless in the rail trail.
Agree 100%, but once again, there's nothing you and I can do about that.
I don't know. I mean,
like as individuals, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, go drag them, kick
well,
them,
I mean,
out
I
there,
think
right? You can't
so.
do that.
Here's the reason. Here's the reason we're doing this. And trust me, I want to be home right now with my dog. But we decided to do this because I really, really want to understand. The more I let the public know about the realities of it, maybe it sparks some imagination in people that should be taking care of this stuff. Right?
Once again, if somebody has a solution to the problem, by all means, please solve it.
But I'm going to stand my ground on that. Nobody should be homeless in the rail trail because the rail trail belongs to the community. And it's a beautiful place. It's a magical place. And that doesn't belong there. Right?
No, because it can't be used. Right. So right now it's being used as an encampment spot, right? Which is now made it unusable for most people. Right. Especially for females, people with children.
Right.
As its intended use, which is a community recreation.
Right. So that goes back to your point that your problems or your rights shouldn't infringe on the majority's.
Yeah, or
rights,
anyone's.
right?
Like if you can't help it. Yeah. And I mean that's the issue. That's the issue with them living there.
Right.
Is that it's creating problems for other people there as well.
So the encampment down on Middle Street is bad. But the encampments on the rail trail.
Yeah, I mean the last time we were there was a tent right there on the rail trail. Yeah, and that's where I found the syringe. Last time too was in that exact spot.
Right. So the last time we did the rail trail situation, people are like, "Oh, but it's off the rail trail." But it was only 6 to 8 feet.
Yeah, it's not like off the rail trail.
So if your children,
it's not in the middle of the rail trail, but it's
but if your children are riding a bike with you down the rail trail, the beautiful rail trail, and you're seeing the ducks and the turtles and the otters and all the wildlife there, and it's a beautiful day, if they pivot their head to the right, they're going to see an encampment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got that excuse, but now we find out when we go there yesterday, it's literally on the rail trail.
Well, technically, it's about because it's not on the pavement. But that's one of the things.
But it's
not on the road.
And in addition to the tent being on the rail trail, it's in an enclosure, a bridge, an underpass.
Underpass, yeah.
Right. So if I'm a family,
the underpass is a scarier place. In
already
general. It's
scary,
darker,
right? So now on the right, there's a tent, right? So we need to bypass that. Well, it's not on the rail trail. It's 6 feet off the rail trail. So it is effectively because there's crossover.
Yeah, and the 6 feet too. You remember the entrance to that 6 feet is where a lot of the trash gets dumped and blown around. And because that happened. I mean, that little area we cleaned right off of Quequechan Street.
Right.
We're talking about 15, 20 feet away. That was full of trash. Was an entrance to a camp.
Right.
And they were just dumping their trash on the way into the camp.
Right. So what we found out yesterday is that excuse it didn't work in the beginning. Actually, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Now that's blown out of the water because it's literally on the rail trail.
Yeah.
Making it 100% not safe.
Feels unsafe.
Feels
Yeah.
not safe.
I feel safe everywhere, but
Yeah, but that's
me.
because you have
I'm
no
not right in
fear.
the head.
But you're not a mother with a child.
Yeah, big difference than a female.
We also
walking
got
alone
like
or-
a lot of older people who said, "I used
Yeah.
to go there for exercise. I can't do it anymore." Well, you paid for it.
Yeah, no,
and
I mean,
now
people,
you can't use it.
even people I do see on it, and this really strikes me on this because, like I said, I've gone on lots of bike paths. I
Mm-hmm.
go on them regularly in different places, and that trail, people are afraid of you when
Right.
you're walking past them.
No eye
Everywhere else,
contact.
people looks up at you and
Yeah.
says, "Hey, how's
Yeah,
it
yeah,
going?"
yeah.
And literally 100% of the other bike paths I've been on, that occurs all
Because
the time.
there's tension there,
yeah,
right?
yeah, they're afraid.
Yeah, which I think is horrible.
Yeah, of course, it's terrible.
Because I saw a swan yesterday.
Yeah.
I saw a crane.
They have
I
a nice
saw-
nest over there.
I saw a duck.
Yeah.
I saw a turtle.
Yep.
The turtle may have had 8 heads from looking at
No,
disgusting
no.
water. It didn't have 8 heads. It only
Well,
had
it's
1.
swampy over there. But
Right. But I'm sticking to my guns on this. No homeless encampment on the rail trail.
Yeah, and
Right?
some of them are on state property.
Yep.
And they can say they're not, but they are because
Yep.
that's 195, and
Yep.
they go right up against 195. That land, if you look on the GIS map, is state property.
Right.
And some of it is on city property. And there's a possibility that some of it is on private property. However, I think that they have a tendency to clean those areas out
Right.
more often than the
Right.
city and the state does.
Right, because what we got, not that I had the time, but we played that state issue, local issue, but the state blames local blames state, and everyone says, I don't know what the hell's going on. So we already went through that, but I'm not going to let it go, right?
No, I think the more we bring awareness to it, and maybe the more people will get involved in maybe letting
Right.
the powers that be know that they want this area to be used appropriately,
Right,
right? That maybe they can do something about it.
right. So we're going to continue to do that, right?
Yeah.
Going to continue to. I think once the community kind of gets grip of this, and they push their power forward, something will get done quick, really. Because I mean,
Where people's energy goes,
right?
goes.
We forget, honestly, the amount of power that we have to change things as citizens. I think I'm proof of that. But imagine 1,000 of me.
That's yeah.
Right,
When,
so-
when I jumped on board, I actually used
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah, those
So,
words, that's what we need is 1,000 of you.
Right. So just imagine 1,000 of us,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not a big number. We have 90,000. 90,000.
Yeah, about that. Yeah. And it's growing. So.
Right, 90,000 people in the city of Fall
It's
River.
not a lot of people. Yeah,
Right.
just people that can, get
Is it
up and
900
go
or
out there.
90?
90.
90?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'd be a big city. 900.
So if we could just get a small, very small portion of the people of Fall River to say, we have this right, we have this power to demand that the people who work for us actually work for us, right?
Yep.
Another thing that struck me
And
real
then
quick.
also to doing things themselves too, right? So because so you shoot an email off or you make a complaint online
Yeah.
that government's not doing their job,
Yeah.
right? You're 100% right. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
That a lot of times things aren't getting done that need
Waste
to
of
get done.
time.
Yeah. Well, but if that helps, great. But that isn't the only solution here too.
Right.
And once again, you're evidence of that, right? You're out doing things and
Right.
getting things done without sitting online complaining about it.
Right, because people ask me all the time, why don't you run for mayor, and what I get from people that I respect is you can do so much more as a citizen than you can as a politician. And I'm thinking, well, if that's true, how come nobody's doing anything?
Well, because I think a lot of people sit around expecting the government to do the
Right.
things, and they're right. They should be doing some things, right? That
Right.
they're not doing. But I don't, my whole mentality and how I live my life is I don't wait for other people to do their job. I just go get done what I need to get done.
Right. And another thing I've learned is that I have to qualify everything that I say. So I don't mean that like agencies aren't doing things, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying as citizens, normal people,
Individuals,
like me,
yeah.
right, or abnormal people like me, individuals spend so much time online saying, "Oh, I'm disgusted. Wear gloves. I can't believe you're not wearing gloves when you clean up.
Which, I mean, that just shows they care.
Right, but you need to take that right?
Energy, yeah.
Right, because if you're disgusted, if you're ashamed, maybe if you take some of that energy and put it towards change.
Yeah, like a group of people getting together and going down there and cleaning up, right?
Right.
Right, anywhere in the city.
Or-
it all makes a big difference.
Make phone calls.
Don't
Right.
make phone calls on, yeah.
Right. I happen to know that the mayor's office is very receptive and is very receptive to constituents calling.
Yeah.
See something, say something.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Right?
the more people ask for things, the more they get done.
Okay.
And you can also go out there and do things.
Right.
Right. I mean, I just grabbed my kayak.
Teach
I
your
went in
kids.
there and cleaned it
Yeah.
up. And, you know,
yeah.
I could have.
I actually grabbed the kayak, but
It's my kayak. You did do this though with it.
yeah, I did do roll. So
But that's what I'm saying. Like you just go do things too, right? If you wait for other
Right.
people to do things, it's fine.
Right.
Maybe it'll get done. But if it's not getting done, just go do it.
and why do you do it? Why should we care? Why do I care what the rail trail looks like?
Because I think children and families should be using that. I think it's a wonderful space,
Right.
Right. That should be utilized much more so.
Or
That's part of the
anything.
community.
I'm not
Yeah.
homeless, so why do I care about the homeless? I don't really use the rail trail, clearly. Why do I care about the rail trail?
You or just anyone?
Yeah, just me. Answer the question.
I don't know. You'd have to
Right.
answer.
So, my hope is that I think Fall River's had a bum rap for a really long time. As we've talked about before, there's not anyone I know that is proud to say, let's take it back a little while. Back in the day, there was no one who would say, I'm proud to be from Fall River. As a matter of fact, we used to say we're from Somerset or Swansea or something like that. My dream has always been to live in a city that you're proud to live in, that has a great community, that has a small town feel. You know, Boston's a huge city. It has a small town feel. So, you know, it doesn't matter how big you are, city-wise.
Just make the place nicer.
Right.
Yeah.
So that you can be proud. So that
Yeah.
you live in a beautiful...
You can enjoy it. Yeah. Feel
and
better.
and you can enjoy it.
And feel
Yeah.
better about
Yeah.
your environment, yourself, right?
Yeah.
Your neighbors.
And I'm not even concerned with like potholes and stuff like that. That's down the road. We need to take care of basic humanity right now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we'll help out those people. We'll maybe interact with them in a way where they can help us too. I
Right.
think that's right. I mean, that's community,
Right.
right? I help you, you help me. Let's
Right.
make this place nicer for everybody and safer and better for everybody. I'd like to see, like I said, some more recreation opportunities there for children and families.
Yep.
Outside of just that you could walk on this trail, right? There's lots of opportunities there that place is being underutilized completely.
Totally underutilized.
And that's a start. Like we
Yeah.
make that place really nice, and then we'll do other things.
I don't understand why people don't get it though. It's like a little oasis in a very it's our own Central Park,
It's super nice place.
right?
That's totally underutilized.
It's
Yeah.
kind of our own Central Park.
Like, it's funny. I mean, I brought the kayak in that little side area to
Yeah.
but that other area, that's like a beautiful place to go, like ride around on a kayak, maybe do a little fishing, and
So every time we talk about it, it makes me more angry. Like I know we're coming up with what we think are solutions, but it makes me more angry that people don't understand that it is your own Central Park within the city of Fall River, and it's just completely...
Well, I think initially it wasn't that though. People were like happy about that place and
Yeah,
used it, and then
yeah.
it became something else, and then people just sort of retreated from it, right?
How do you let it become something else?
Inaction, right? Not doing anything.
I hate it.
Yeah. But we're
so-
gonna change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm convinced we are going to change
Oh
it.
yeah.
No, I really am.
Yeah, there's no question of that.
So, plan going forward, make relationships with the
People that are living
people that are living down at the encampment. Try to get them on our side.
Yeah, they will be.
To try to get that area clean,
Yep.
live in sanitary conditions.
Yep. And then we got to work with the city, and we got to increase the recreation opportunities down there for sure too.
Right. But like I
Fence,
always say,
you know.
before anything, we got to get rid of that mess. And the
Yeah,
homeless
it's gonna be
people,
clean and safe. Yeah.
Yeah, the homeless people have to not be there.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, We'll see.
Listen,
what
okay,
happens,
down
yeah.
at the bottom of Middle Street, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that is close to a baseball park and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it's right next to the road,
that's a
yeah.
little weird too,
Mhm.
but can't be on the rail trail. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not on it. And then, like I said, if they're off in the woods and like you and I can't tell people, well, I mean, you can tell them, but, right? It's up to the powers that be, the government,
Right.
in order to enforce or enact whatever that means, right? But we can still make it, I think. Right, because once again, if we're saying, oh, if we can't make that place nice unless the government does their part, then what if the government doesn't do their part? Then we're stuck again, like, you know.
Right, 'cause we
we're
could
just gonna
throw
make
our-
it-
we
I'm
could-
going to make it nice anyway. That's
could-
my goal.
We could throw our hands up
Yeah,
and
no, I'm
let
not
it
doing
just
that.
go to hell,
No.
more to hell.
Yeah,
But
that, I mean, it'll be terrible.
it's already terrible.
I can see it getting much worse than that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
If the community retreats from that place,
Yeah.
except for certain segments of society that want to utilize it in some other way, that's going to be
Right.
absurd. Yeah.
I'm still sticking to my guns, though. I don't think anyone needs to live on the rail trail. That's not what it's for.
Yeah, and I agree.
I mean,
I'm
we
just saying,
can't
I
set up
just-
camp in the middle of Market Basket.
Yeah, I
right?
agree with you 100%. But we need the government to go in and do that. And if the government's not
Right.
willing to do that, right, we're stuck with what we have, and let's find ways around that.
Right.
Yeah.
So my plan, if I had the ultimate power right now, would be everyone gets removed from that,
Mhm.
and then people are going to say, "But where do you put them?"
Yeah, I don't know.
Right now, that there's people who can figure that out. But for now, my one plan, if I could just hit a button and make it a reality, would be everyone gets cleared out of the rail trail.
It's cleaned up.
Bulldozers come
Yep.
in, heavy equipment. You turn the earth a little bit,
Mhm.
get that place spotless for the spring.
Fix stuff too, the garden areas and all
Yeah.
that. Get it back to where it was.
But even before all that stuff, even before bringing it back to the way it was, which was magnificent, by
Maybe
the way,
cameras on that trail too. That's another thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna do.
it's got to be stripped.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be stripped.
So, yeah, I think there's lots of opportunities,
Mhm.
right? And I think we're gonna do lots of good things there.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I don't think I said anything controversial, right?
I don't know. Maybe that's anything is controversial.
I'm
There's a lot of
tired.
people on the planet.
I'm tired.
And then toy drive.
The toy drive's
Yeah.
going splendidly.
Yeah, we get
thanks
some-
to Rick
yeah,
Torres,
wonderful donations.
$5,000 check today.
Yeah, and several others too. So we're up to about
Right.
25,000 and change.
Right,
almost
so we're
up to
definitely gonna
26,000.
we're
We're getting
definitely
close
gonna-
to the 30.
Definitely gonna hit our goal. But that should be motivation.
There's only 3 weeks left. Though.
Yeah, that should be motivation. Rick Torres coming in and
Yeah, that's great.
so
He should have said on magic.
come on guys, let's go.
Yeah, that would be good.
Um,
And then we got the Christmas decor that we went and found that was in storage, and we're trying to get that
We're
repaired
trying
and
to get
repainted.
that. And by the way, that was not from the Winter Wonderland. Those are actually vintage pieces from the city of Fall River that they used to use a long time ago. So those are actually vintage pieces.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was that girl who just.
No, those
Yeah.
were like from when I was a kid.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
and then we're planning hopefully to get a little setup down at Abbott Court Park.
Abbott Court Park, yeah, because I love that park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it'll be decorated in places to
Yep.
take photos. Maybe we can get a hot chocolate event down there. Or
Hot
something
dog
with Santa
cart.
or-
Yep.
Yeah,
You can do all that.
maybe we can get a photographer down there or
Definitely.
girl Megan.
Megan Rigo. She'll do it. She'll do it.
Yeah, and that'll be nice.
It's a lot going on. We don't have much time.
Yeah, yeah. So anyone who likes painting, contact Christopher.
Yeah, so we did take it to SoCo Labs, and they are full of artists there, right? So I'm hoping someone kind of, or a few of them kind of picks it up. But if you're a painter, get at us.
Yeah, and this isn't like detailed wonderful.
It's not detailed.
Yeah, you can just.
I
touch
could
up.
probably do it.
Yeah, it's a lot of. You need help now.
Maybe we should just do it.
It's a lot to do.
Okay, well we'll see where it's at. But I'm hoping to get those vintage pieces out, specifically the South End, because the South End gets forgotten about a little bit.
Yeah.
We've been taking care of ourselves, but
But that's going to go in the south end,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
nice.
yeah. Okay, so
And then
we have a
that's
plan.
it for right now, right?
Yeah, that's it. What are you talking about?
Well,
Let's
it's
change
just-
the
there's
world.
nothing else. Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Ready? Okay.
All right.
Bye.